पदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलम् श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथामृतं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे यस्वानुभावम् अखिल श्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपम् अतितितीर्षितां तमोऽन्धम् संसारिणां करुणया पुराणगुह्यम् तं व्यासुनोमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीना. I'm extremely pleased and happy to be here at the ISKCON Sarjapur Extension Center, and we are all celebrating today Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, which is just the next day after Janmashtami, which is called as the Nandutsav. Srila Sutta Goswami is glorifying Srila Sukadeva Goswami, his spiritual master, before answering the 6 questions of the series of Naimisharanya. And these 2 verses, Yaswan Mahavam and Yam Pravarjantam Anupayate Krityam, these 2 verses perfectly fit for Srila Prabhupada. Yaswanubhavam Akhila Shruti Saram Ekam. Sukadeva Goswami personally realized the Bhagavatam, Swanubhavam. And what is this Bhagavatam? Akhila Shruti Saram Ekam. It is the essence of the Shruti. The 4 Shrutis are the Rig, Yajur, Sam, and Atharva. And Shruti also means it is the essence of all hearing. Bhagavatam is the essence. If you have to hear anything in your ears, you have to hear Bhagavatam, nothing else. Yaswanubhavam Akhila Shruti Saramekam Adhyatma Deepam Atititirshtam Tamoandam. So this Bhagavatam is compared to the Adhyatma Deepa. It is a torchlight or the lamp where the conditioned souls in this material world are rotting in darkness. Atit tirshatam tamo andam and samsarinam karunaya. And to show compassion on those who are in this samsara, rotting in the cycle of birth and death, karunaya purana guhyam. He spoke this Guhya Puran, the Srimad Bhagavatam. Tam Vyasunum, unto that son of Vyasadev, Guru Munina, the greatest of the great yogis, I offer my respects. So, I feel none of us sitting in this assembly before coming to Krishna consciousness knew about the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yet, yes or no? Yes. So it's only by Srila Prabhupada's mercy we came in touch with the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, uh, especially like acharyas like Srila Prabhupada, they directly descend from the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, the eternal associates of the Lord are reciprocating loving exchanges with the Lord, which is part of the chitta potency, the spiritual potency. And when they descend, I'm speaking about the Nitya Siddhas, when they descend, that same chitta potency, when they are here in this world, transforms into mercy, kripa. So that is why when we offer obeisance to Vaishnava, what do we say? Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhu is the ocean of mercy. And what is that mercy? Patitanam avanebhyo. The most fallen he can purify. Patitanam avanebhyo. Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. So I was reflecting that we have very short time and the Acharya who comes to give this message of the Lord, how do we glorify? And we cannot understand the heart of our Acharya. But Prabhupada himself reveals, what is the state of consciousness by his own thoughts. You can understand the state of consciousness of a person by his thoughts. And we can now peek, P-E-E-K. We can peek into the peak, P-E-A-K, of the consciousness of Srila Prabhupada in this bhajan. So we have very less time and I'll just summarize, and try to understand, the mission and purpose of the Acharya. So in this bhajan, Srila Prabhupada is revealing what is surrendered consciousness. What is surrendered consciousness? What is the consciousness of a surrendered soul? He himself reveals this. Bodo kripa koilo Krishna adhamera prati kila gila heto oro ebe gati. Prabhupada has landed. He is a Vishnu Doot from the spiritual world and he has traveled in the Jaladoot. The ship was Jaladoot. For almost 2 months, suffered 2 heart attacks, and he has just landed in Boston Pier port. And Prabhupada, when he landed first in America, the captain took him to the tour of Boston City. And after first observing this, Prabhupada composed this prayer. This is a very intimate and personal prayer Srila Prabhupada is offering directly to Krishna. Actually, this prayer was lost, but by divine providence it was found again. It's a very personal exchange and reciprocation what Prabhupada is having with his dear friend and, companion, that is Krishna. He is revealing this in his bhajan. So he is saying, Bodo Kripa Kale Krishna. Krishna, you have been very merciful to me. And who is he? Prabhupada is saying, Adhamera Prati. Now, anyone who goes to America, na, he doesn't think he is fallen. He thinks he's very exalted. You know? And Prabhupada has landed in America and he's saying, on this Adhama, you have made a great kripa. And if you see, Prabhupada received the instruction to preach to the English speaking people, in 1922. And it took him how many years? 1966. How many years? 44 years. For 44 years, he was preparing to execute the instruction of his spiritual master. To get an instruction from a spiritual master is great mercy. To execute the instruction of a spiritual master is a greater mercy. And to successfully execute this instruction of the spiritual master is the highest mercy. So 44 years he prepared. And we all know, if you all read the Leelamrit, what troubles Prabhupada took to get that ticket. He was sitting in the office of Murari Desai for days together, just waiting for an appointment. He had no contacts, and he'd been doing this striving. He had been trying to preach in India, but Indians were not taking the message seriously. But in order to preach to Indians, he had to go to America because he could get Americans back to India to actually tell them. So it is all Srila Prabhupada put these efforts, but he is giving the credit to whom? Krishna. So this is the mood of a non-doership, which is manifested in Srila Prabhupada. Bodo Kripa Kaila Krishna Adho Mere Bhakti. Gila gila hai to karo ye bigati. And then he's asking Krishna, why did you get me here, man? What is the purpose you got me here in this place? And he'll describe this place, what this place is. Srila Prabhupada's initial disciples who were, with him in the beginning days, we know that Howard Wheeler, English professor, Prabhupada said, you start doing editing. He said, I don't have any experience. He said, no, Krishna will help you. Krishna is your friend. So they used to say that Prabhupada used to speak as though, he is living with Krishna, Krishna is his roommate. So he's asking here, Kila, Kila, hey, why have you brought me here? Karo ye gati. Now you got me here. You can use me as you want. Then he says, Ache kuchu karya, tabe ei anumane. You have some purpose. You got me here. This is my anuman. This is my anuman. Now we all know that Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur gave the instruction, and now he got the ticket, and now he has landed in America. So he says, yes, by this we can infer. Anuman means to infer. So inference is also, sometimes helpful to understand, what Krishna wants us to do. Sometimes the devotees are perplexed as to what to do, but the devotee is never disturbed. So in what service Krishna wants me to do? Sometimes devotees can be in perplexity. So now we can see that I have an anuman that you have got me for some purpose here. Nahi keno anibe ei ugrastani. The Prabhupada is describing, America as an Ugristan. Ugristan is like, if you graphically think about, it's like a battlefield where there are dead bodies lying, everything is devastated. The Prabhupada is describing those posh cars, palatial buildings, high-rise buildings as what? Ugra Stan. The Ugra Stan it is. That is how the Acharya sees from the Jnana Chakshu in the light of the scriptures. And how it is a Ugra Stan? Here he describes. Rajas tamo gune eva sabhaya achan vasudeva kata ruchi nahi se prasan. Because it is completely covered by Raja and Tama. Achan, they are covered, and everywhere it is the same. But the peak of that covering is especially in the Western world. And that is why, because we are covered by the modes of passion and ignorance, Vasudeva Katha Ruchi Nahi se prasad. We don't feel pleased in the heart hearing Vasudeva Katha. तबे यदि तव कृपा होए बे अकृति सकल ये संभव होय तुमी से कौतुकी. So he knows that I have been sent here to speak Vasudev Katha, but all are engulfed in the modes of Rajas and Tamas. Now Srila Prabhupada is praying here that by your mercy, sakala ye sambhava he hoye tumi to kautuki. It is possible that they will understand this message if they have your mercy. Now, Prabhupada did not, change his English speaking skill. Many will give a TOEFL or whatever exam to learn the American accent to adjust to their culture. Prabhupada had very high Bengali accent when he used to speak. And the devotees who used to sit and hear, they just could not understand anything. But they could one thing understand that, this person, whatever he's speaking, we cannot understand anything, but he's our real well-wisher. So, Krishna in the heart was transmitting that knowledge, what Srila Prabhupada was speaking. So that's why you are a Kautuki. You can make them understand your message. Ki bhave bujhalo tara bhujai sei ras ete kripa karo Prabhu koro nija vash. Now, here Prabhupada is expressing his sentiment and emotion. That how will these devotees understand the mellows of devotion service? The science of rasa is very deep. Ki bhave pujalo tora bhoje sai ras. How can we understand this concept of rasa? Ete kripa karo Prabhu kori nija vash. You bestow your mercy by which they can understand this. तुम्हारा इच्छा सब होए माया वाश. तुम्हारा इच्छा नाश मायार वाश. So the Acharya comes in this world to tell us that we are engulfed in Maya in this world and to get out of this Maya, this material world. So, by your mercy, they have come under this. The Jiva is impregnated in Prakriti here in this world. And by your mercy, they can come out. भागवतेर कथा से ही तव अवतार धीर होया सुने यदि काने भार भार. Now, the process and the means to get out of the Maya is what? Bhagavatara Katha. It is Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Bhadra Purnima is coming, and I heard that His Holiness Bhakti Bhagavat Vijay Maharaj had come here, and a lot of Bhagavatam sets are distributed. But anyone who has still not had, today is the opportunity. So, Dhira Huya Shune Yadi Kane Bharava. Repeatedly one has to, become Dhira, and he has to hear the Bhagavatam. Now, Prabhupada is composing this prayer in Bengali, and he's not concerned, array the flow will break, but he quotes the Bhagavatam, and we'll all recite these verses together. Shunvatam Swakata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana Siddhantasto hi abhadrani Hridanoti Suratata नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी तदा रजस्तमो भाव आमलोभादयश्च चेतेतेरनावृद्धम् सित्त्वं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानम् मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते भिद्यन्ते हृदयग्रन्थे छिन्दन्ते सर्वसंशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे शृण्वतां सुखतः कृष्ण पुण्य श्रवण कीर्तन. By hearing Krishna Katha, Hridyantasto Abhadrani, all are destroyed. Because Krishna is Surit Satam. He is the heart to heart friend. And he will cleanse the heart. And then what will happen? Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu. Nityam Bhagavata Seva. I heard that every day morning Bhagavatam class happens here. Amazing. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtihi. And Tada Rajastamo Bhava Kamalobhadashe Chet Eterana Vidham Sitvam Sattve Prasidati. Then the modes influence will go away. And then what will happen? Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavat Bhakti Yogata Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. Then we'll be free from the influence of the modes. Bidhyante hridaya granthis, chindante sarva samshaya. All the desires in the mind which act as obstacles and all the doubts in the intelligence will be all destroyed. Shiyante chasya karmani. The karmic chain is terminated. Drishta eva atmanishwari. One can see with spiritual vision along with the Atma, the Paramatma, who is a true friend. And then he continues. Rajastamohate tabe paibe nistar hridaya bhadra sabha uchi betaha. So he's narrating the same thing. When one hears Veera, Hoye, then all the Raja and Tama will go away. Ki karo bhujavo kata baro se chai shudra mi dinahina ono shaktina. Now this is the effect Bhagavatam has. This is the effect that it will eliminate the Rajas and Tamas. But now Srila Prabhupada is saying that I'm not qualified. How can I speak your katha? Ami Shudra Ami Dinahina. I'm a Shudra, I'm a Dinahina. Kono Shakti Nai. I have no strength. So this is how the consciousness of a surrendered devotee, he doesn't feel that, I am speaking the Bhagavatam, I am going to transform others. It's Krishna who has to speak. Actually, when you speak the Bhagavatam, you don't speak for the audience. You speak for the deities, for their pleasure. And if the deities are pleased, then they can, in the heart, inspire you to understand the message. Not that I can make you understand the message. So this is the consciousness of a surrendered devotee. अथ चेने च प्रभु कथा बोली भारे जे तुम्हार इच्छा प्रभु करो ए बारे. Now you got me here. What? To speak Bhagavatam. Je tumhara icha. Whatever is your desire, I am ready to do that. This is Sarva Dharman Parityaja. If you want me to do something else, I'm ready to do it. But now you got me here to speak. So, and then Akhila Jagat Guru Bachan Se Amar Alankrita Kori Bar Shamata Tumar. You are the Akhila Jagat Guru. And Vachana Se Amar. My words Alankrit. You can, Alankrit here is not ornament with, nice, metaphors or similes. No. Alankrit means you can actually come on my tongue and you can speak. And that is your Shamata. This is also the prayer of Sukadeva Goswami before he starts speaking the Bhagavatam. He speaks the answers of Parikshit Maharaj, but he forgets to offer Mangalacharan. He's in so much ecstasy. And then he remembers later on when Parikshit Maharaj asked few questions on creation. So that time he offers his Mangalacharan. And that time he says, same, Alankrita. तबे कृपा होले मोरा कथा शुद्ध होवे शुनिया सभर शोक दुख जे घुचिबे तब कृपा तब कृपा होले मोरा कथा शुद्ध होवे by your mercy my katha will become शुद्ध and then शुनिया सभर शोक दुख जे घुचिबे आनिया यदि प्रभु अमर न चाहे नचाओ नचाओ प्रभु नचाओ सही मते you have brought me here aniya yati prabhu amara nachayate to make me dance and now you can make me dance as you like. So Prabhupada is considering himself just as a puppet. How the puppeteer will move, he will move. So I will move according to your will. And we know that within 11 years, Prabhupada, by his preaching all over the world, he made the whole world dance. In fact, the Prithvi was dancing in ecstasy because of his preaching. Just like Dhruva Maharaj, by his tapasya, what happened? The earth started shaking, rocking. So the entire earth during Prabhupada's time was rocking with the Harinam. That was the potency of Prabhupada. But here, what is his mood? That I am just a puppet. काष्ठेर पुतली यथा नचाओ माथे भक्ति नाही वेद नाही नामे खूबे धारो भक्ति वेदांत नाम एबे सार्थक करो I have no devotion, I have no knowledge, Veda. Name Kube Dharo, but I'm holding this name title Bhakti Vedanta. And in fact, this title was Prabhupada did not take it for himself. It was his god brother, who had given this title. And now, Bhakti Vedanta Nama Ebe Sartak Karo. Now it is your duty to, fulfill this title. So this is the consciousness of Srila Prabhupada. And the Acharyas come in this world to take us out of illusion. And the process is Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada's greatest contribution is to break the shackles of Rajas and Tamas by which we are all influenced by these modes and trapped in this material world. The only solution is what? Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's the mission of the Acharyas. In any war, there are two things, the weapons and the strategy to win a war. So we are all engulfed here. We are in war against Maya. And the weapon is what? Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, which glorifies the holy name right from the beginning to the end. And the strategy is the surrendered consciousness. Sri Prabhupada revealed. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. So on this auspicious day, we can all pray to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, that we can study his Srimad Bhagavatam and become Veera. And then we can propagate his message in that surrendered consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Avadut Nimai Prabhuji from Braj, Vrindavan, he is here in another Braj. Yes.
Thank you for having me to this here. So, what are we thinking today about the place to cultivate the understanding?
Gita and Bhagavad, that's it. There's no other way. You have to study the Gita and Bhagavad.
What is the holy between things study? We can study in any way, like scholarship, like knowledge, but as a devotee, actually.
We have to hear from self-realized souls. Our consciousness, whatever times, how many times if you study the Gita, it will remain the same. We cannot penetrate because the message of the Gita and the Bhagavatam is at a transcendental level of consciousness. Just like the mother, she loves the child, and when the child is sick, she understands that the child is sick, but she can't do anything about it. She has to take her to the doctor. The doctor sees the child, you know, and then he will give the right medicine. That is, the fever will go away. But even the next time when the child is sick, she knows, now the child is sick, and she knows what the doctor has given prescription. But yet she cannot do that on her own. She has to still take him to the doctor. You know. So, to raise our consciousness, to understand the message, the transcendental message, which is coming from the spiritual world, you have to hear the message from that level of consciousness. And then, having heard it, then you study, then you can uplift your consciousness. That's the way we have to do. Is it okay? Any other comments? Anything? Okay. One last question.
What shall I do from it? Why would Krishna say what you
No, basically we have to hear the message from the Guru Sadhus and Shastra, but it is also the sincerity, and the prayer. You know. Our way to reach the Lord is through prayers. Like Brahma and Bhumi Devi, along with the Devatas, went to the Shir Sagar and they offered prayers. Neither they could see Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, nor they knew that he has heard the message. But when Brahma sat in meditation, the message was relayed, transmitted in his heart. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikave. So similarly, when we are in a very prayerful mood, hearing the message, or the acharyas pray for you, then Krishna hears that prayer. Then Krishna can transmit the message. So it is our sincere efforts of that prayerful mood of hearing by which we can understand the message. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam yenamam vaya yan. Is it okay? Yeah. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Hare Raj Krishna, Raj Krishna, Raj Krishna,
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we thank His way Rambhadra Prabhu for a short time. Unfortunately, we wanted to be on board, but since we have from today the new moderator that starting at 11 o'clock, we want to make sure that we are able to spend more time. Now we also be celebrating Prabhupada Bhakti and in the sense that all devotees one by one would come here and